Thank you, Michaela. I wish I could claim to have the PhD. I don't, but maybe someday. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Dr. Tanubu, and of course, Dr. Shange, for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful summit. This is, I think, my second time, and always love to talk about what was formerly called the Environmental Justice Academy, but is now the I always have to remember, Environment, Economics, and Energy Academy. So Michaela mentioned that I guess I'm still an environmental scientist, formerly employed by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. I retired in December of 2024. So I was able to leave on my own terms. I had a full 30-year career in the federal government. I started out with the Department of Energy, and I spent 26 years with the Environmental Protection Agency, working with marginalized communities, low-income, minority communities that were impacted by environmental risk and environmental harms. It was something that I was very passionate about. I was very intentional about the work that I was doing. And it led me and one of my colleagues, Daphne Wilson, to create a program that would build the capacity for residents and citizens of these communities that have been dumped on for years and continuing to be dumped on, fenceline communities that just did not have the resources or the knowledge, the education, the financial means to address the impacts that they were dealing with. And so that led us to create a leadership development program to help them build that capacity so they could be better advocates for themselves, not necessarily relying on the federal government, whether that be the EPA or the USDA, the Agriculture Department, or any other federal agency, local government, state governments, that also have a role in making sure that these communities remain healthy and they stay safe and that they're clean. But as a citizen, they too have responsibilities and they have a roles, and there are things that as a citizen, there are things that people who are working for these agencies aren't able to do. And so we wanted to make sure that they were armed with the information and the education that more than likely they did not have. And so we embarked on a 2-year process almost to develop a very intensive program that hopefully at the end they would have a substantial project that they were working on along 9 months, following a series of different topics and content. So Tuskegee, fortunately, joined with us in 2023, and we've been able to graduate 2 classes with over 65 graduates, I think. I think that deserves a round of applause. Yes. The second class graduated May 30th, 2025, so very recently. It takes a lot of work. It's very time intensive, very resource intensive. So we are planning on starting another class in 2026, probably August, September 2026. But in the meantime, Ann spoke about Ann from Shared Interests. We're going to be working with Shared Interests in the interim, and we're going to incorporate the economics that really hadn't been a part of what was previously the Environmental Justice Academy, and invite our graduates to be a part of their 5-session program. So we're looking forward to what's going to come out with that. And we may have to talk about partnering with HBCUFI as well. Sounds like a good partnership. But I forgot to mention, since we're talking about who's a graduate of HBCUs, I'm also a graduate of Clark Atlanta University, 1992. I got a master's from there, but I also have an undergraduate from another HBCU, Benedict College. But I've worked with HBCUs in my personal capacity for a long time. I've been on the board with the United Negro College Fund. So those are the private institutions, Tuskegee being one of them. So I'm just a major advocate for HBCUs all around the country, and just enjoy this work that I've been able to do while employed as a federal agent, but also working with Tuskegee. So I'm going to continue with this particular panel. So we have two people with us today, Dr. Candy Tate and Courtney Sherrod. Dr. Tate does have a presentation, but I'm going to read their bios, and then we'll hear from Dr. Tate, and then we'll pose some questions that we have prepared, but we also will take questions from the audience. So I'll start with Dr. Tate. So Dr. Rashanice Candy Tate joined the Tuskegee University Library as curator and co-director of the Legacy Museum effective May the 1st, 2024. She will also have a joint appointment in the Department of Fine and Performing Arts. Dr. Tate has been an art historian and arts administrator for more than 30 years. Her research interests include cultural politics in Atlanta, African American photographers, the Harlem Renaissance, the Black Arts Movement, African American veterans, and the African diaspora historic preservation. Dr. Tate's community involvement and networks are vast and varied. Her interests led to the development of Cultural Centers International, a nonprofit devoted to historic preservation through the arts. CCI rebuilds Black Main Streets, one MLK Junior corridor at a time, through the arts. She's an executive committee board member of the Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation. She has placed historic Fountain Stone Hall in Atlanta's Ashby Street Theater on the Georgia Trust Places and Apparel listing. And she is an experienced fundraiser, securing more than $5 million in support for African American projects. Dr. Tate is a community organizer and institution builder. She's a life member of the Atlanta branch of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, a Silver Star, which is 25 years plus, member of that sorority, the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, that's coming from a Delta, past president of the Buckhead Cascade City chapter of the Lynx, and an active member of the Central United Methodist Church on MLK in Atlanta. She leads the Coalition to Remember the 1906 Atlanta Race Massacre. She continues to be innovative with historic preservation, stating that we remember the past to understand the present, to change the future. All right, so let's give Dr. Tate a round of applause. Courtney Sherrod is, like Dr. Tanubu mentioned, is a graduate of the 2023, what used to be called the Environmental Justice Academy, a State of African Americans and the Black Belt Research Fellow, is a graduate student at Tuskegee University's College of Agriculture, Environment, and Nutrition Sciences, where she is pursuing her doctorate in integrative public policy and development. She is primarily focusing on Black farmers in rural communities of the South while furthering her knowledge of agriculture and policy development. Courtney is also a research fellow for the State of African Americans in the Black Belt. Her interest in Black farmers stems from being raised in a family with a legacy of farming and advocating for farmers, as well as a desire to bring farmer concerns to the forefront. So let's give Courtney a round of applause. Are you able to do it? Is she able to control her presentation from there? She has to come here. You have to come down. Go.
You can stay there. You can stay there. It should work up there. Let's.